Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. There are only 2 undefeated ACC teams left, and they will be meeting each other on Saturday as number 14 Syracuse takes on number 5 Clemson in Death Valley. And guys, this is the battle for the Atlantic. A battle for the Atlantic Division. Clemson at 7-0, Syracuse at 6-0. The winner controls their destiny in the division, controls their destiny when it comes to making the ACC championship game. And yes, Clemson has won 8 of the last 9 meetings against Syracuse, really since the Orange joined the ACC. But the Tigers only beat the Orange by 3 last year. They only won by a few points a few years ago as well. This game has the making to be a thriller. The stakes have never been higher between the Orange and the Tigers. And today we are here to break down everything you need to know for this game and, of course, share our official prediction. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad you could join us here today in this new makeshift studio, if you will. Big work in progress. We should have it completed, hopefully, in the near future. But we're super glad you could join us here today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. And of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 4 years. We want you to take advantage of those guys, sign up for those today, and become a part of our GE Nation. All right. Let's dive into it, guys. No one would have thought that Syracuse and Clemson would both be unbeaten coming into the season. Clemson, maybe. Syracuse, probably not. But the Orange are undefeated, one of the biggest surprises of the year, 14th in the country, and have a chance to continue on this magical run if they can upset the Tigers in Death Valley. I mean, take a look at the offense, guys. The offense is a major reason for Syracuse's success, a major reason for their resurgence this year under Dino Babers. The Orange averaging 36 points per game and extremely balanced, guys. 244.3 passing yards per game, 188.5 rushing yards per game. This team really can do it all. And for me, it starts with their quarterback in Garrett Schrader, a guy who has shown so much improvement from last season. Last year, the passing game really wasn't much of a factor for the Orange. This year it is. Schrader throwing for over 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, has also rushed for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's a dual threat quarterback, can beat you in any way possible, but his improvement in the passing game is what has made Syracuse so much better offensively. But in addition to Schrader, of course, the Orange have Sean Tucker, one of the best running backs, not just in the ACC, but in the entire country. 644 rushing yards on the year to go along with 6 touchdowns. And again, guys, this is an Orange team that they can hit you either way. Now that the passing game is something that defenses have to account for, they can beat you there, but you also don't know who's going to take off with the ball. Is Schrader going to hand it off to Tucker? Is he going to keep it himself? And even if the pocket collapses, Schrader has the ability to extend the plays, whether by rolling out and firing or by rolling out and taking off with his legs. That's what's made Syracuse so dangerous this year and so tough to stop. When you take a look at Clemson, they were a team that offensively has also shown a lot of improvement this season. Again, this time last year, everybody was dogging on how bad Clemson was offensively. They were still a team that won 10 games. Let's keep that in mind. But they weren't winning those games because of their offense. But the Tigers, averaging 38.6 points per game. And to me, it all starts with their quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, a guy who has shown massive improvement this year. Over 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Keep in mind, last year, he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. Now has 17 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Has 337 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, completing over 64% of his passes. He is showing accuracy. He's showing much better deep balls. He's showing full command of this offense. This is not the same quarterback for Clemson that we saw last year. So credit to him and the improvement that he has shown so far for Clemson. But let's not, dog on the fact, and let's not forget the fact that Clemson has a very phenomenal running back of their own in Will Shipley, a guy who has 567 yards and 8 touchdowns so far this year, leading a rushing attack that's averaging 170 rushing yards per game. This is a Clemson offense, guys, that has scored at least 30 points in every single game this year. The kicker is, though, they may be facing one of, if not the toughest defensive test they have faced when they take on Syracuse on Saturday. You look at the defense for the Orange guys. They're just giving up 95 rushing yards per game. So we just mentioned how Clemson is averaging 170 rushing yards per game. DJ Uiagalelei is a dual threat quarterback. Will Shipley is leading that rushing attack. Well, Syracuse is saying, hey, you're going to be lucky if you can rush for over 100 on us. It's probably not going to happen. They've allowed over 100 rushing yards 2 times this season, one of them coming to Louisville, a game that Syracuse won 31-7, and another one to Virginia. They allowed 149 yards, the most they've allowed this year, to the Cavaliers when they beat them 22-20. That's it. 149 yards is the most yards they've allowed in a single game this year. That's pretty dang impressive for a team that has played 6 games already. The Orange defense, guys, is still very ferocious up front. 17 sacks on the year. They have forced 9 turnovers. Really, ultimately, for any team, if you want to beat Syracuse, if you want to exploit their defense, you're going to have to throw on them, like a team like Purdue did. Purdue, one of the best passing attacks in the country, had over 400 passing yards against the Orange. Still lost, but had over 400 passing yards. Or you have to force turnovers against the Syracuse offense. That's how you beat the Orange. Virginia forced 4 turnovers on Syracuse, nearly won that game, again falling by 2. So the 2 closest games that Syracuse have had so far this year, a 3-point victory over Purdue, a 2-point victory over Virginia. The 3-point victory over Purdue, Purdue aired it out. The 2-point victory over Virginia, the Cavaliers forced turnovers. That is how you beat the Orange. Question is, can Clemson do that? We take a look at Clemson's defense, guys. They have forced 11 turnovers this year. So yes, it is extremely possible they can shut down Garrett Shrader. They can shut down this Orange offense. They've actually forced 4 turnovers in the last 3 games for the Tigers. This is a game where you're going to hope, if you're Clemson, that you force Garrett Shrader to win the game through the air. Because Clemson's defense, guys, up front is phenomenal as well. 82.7 rushing yards per game. That's it. They're allowing just 82.7 rushing yards per game. So they're actually better statistically on the rushing defense than Syracuse is. Clemson has allowed over 100 rushing yards to 3 teams, to Furman, to Wake Forest, and to Florida State. Last week against the Seminoles, allowing over 200 rushing yards in that 34-28 victory. So over 100 in each of those 3 games, but in the other 4 games combined, Clemson has allowed 138 rushing yards. So the other 38 combined, or other 4 games combined, to teams like NC State and to Georgia Tech and to Louisiana Tech and Boston College, 138 combined rushing yards. That is how good this Clemson defense is, how good especially this front 7 is. The major weakness for Clemson is their secondary. The Tigers are giving up 255.7 passing yards per game. That is how Syracuse, again, is going to have to win this game, is by airing it out with Garrett Shrader. But if you're Clemson, you hope he has to do that because we haven't had to really see Shrader win so much through the air. He delivered in the clutch against Purdue. He delivered a little bit against Virginia, but we really haven't had to see him march on a game-winning drive. I know he did against Purdue, Syracuse fans, but we haven't had to see him do it too much. If Clemson eliminates the run game, can Shrader do it all by himself? No running on his own, no running from Sean Tucker. Can he deliver? And the answer to that question, guys, for me right now is no. I do not believe that Garrett Shrader and Syracuse can win this game in Death Valley. This is a dang good Syracuse team. And this game is not going to be a blowout, in my opinion, by any means. This is going to be a potential low-scoring defensive battle just like it was last year where Clemson escaped in the Carrier Dome. These are 2 great defenses. These are 2 offenses that have drastically improved from last year. Look nothing like they did last year for either team, for Syracuse or Clemson. But ultimately, I got to ride the hot hand. I love DJ Uiagalelei and what he is doing and how much he has improved. I love this Clemson defense, especially up front. They're continuing to get the job done. They look like a well-oiled machine right now on their way to the college football playoff. Factor in the Death Valley home field advantage that Clemson will have on Saturday, and I think that they're able to take down Dino Babers and the Orange, give the Orange their first loss of the year. Clemson will take complete control of the ACC Atlantic. They will control their own destiny, and that destiny appears to be a clear path to the college football playoff. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, we're beating out over 80% of the national analysts have done that each of the last 4 years. We want you to take advantage of our bets and our picks today. Become a part of our GE Nation, guys. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.